Now, okay. So, everybody, it's Joe here. Can't really see me, but I'm right here. I'll point the camera up. But, what's up, guys? Here, gonna take everything in this case and put it in this case. Carl is going to watch, and me and him are going to chat on about it if I have any problems. What I'm
Hey
going to need:
everybody, how's it going?
screwdriver. And this is Carl.
Hi, I'm Carl, and you just froze, Joe.
I wish I had another
You,
camera.
yeah, now your audio froze. Now your audio's back, at least.
Pretty good? Am I good?
It's choppy.
Is it?
Yeah, the quality's pretty low. At least on
Alright,
the
well,
Hangout call for me, it is. Let me pull it up on the. Let's see.
alright, well. Oh well, I'm gonna go with it then. So anybody watching, this is the Corsair Carbine 330R Titanium series. Very nice. Got a bunch of. It's got a swing out door, which I like. That way I can put my optical drives in there, and it'll be hidden when I don't need it. Unfortunately, both side panels are completely solid. So, yep, that sucks. But yes, I'm about to do something that you probably shouldn't do, but I'm gonna do this on carpet. Right?
Yeah, carpet's probably not uh, the safest place to do it, but it's okay as long as you ground yourself properly. So I always recommend to anybody, anytime you're working on the computer, unless you're wearing a grounding strap on your an ESD strap on your wrist or your ankle or something like that. Um, all you need to do is plug the power supply into the wall. You don't need to turn it on. Just plug the power supply into the wall and touch the power supply anytime you're pulling an electronic component out, because then you're grounded and you're good. Um,
In this case, I'm not. Because I have a good reason to believe that I'm completely fine.
But that being
Right,
said,
Carl?
I've done it like you're doing it right now many times, and I've never fried a component with static electricity ever.
Best thing you can do is just sweat. Because if you sweat, then you don't produce static electricity. Oh shit, do I have something plugged in there? Good, unplug those. SD cards. Um, yeah, I got that flash drive out. If anybody doesn't know what I have in here. Oh wow, I can't believe I did that. I have a 7850K A10. Oh fuck it, I'm just gonna do. I'm not even gonna try to make this formal. I'm just gonna do it. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
Can you hear me still?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not doing this formal at all. I'm just fucking taking shit out. Hey, you know what's cool about this new case I seen? All the I/O panels. I mean, all the PCI brackets. All the screws are thumb screws.
Ah, yes, I love when they do that in cases.
I was like, I looked at the. I'm like, holy shit.
Thumb screws on
I don't
everything.
have to.
That's my opinion. Well, thumb screws on everything that is something you need to interact with, like hard drive cages, 5 1/4 bays, the frickin' PCI brackets, the side panels, anything like that should all be thumb screws, always. Um,
Yeah.
and then everything else in the case, like any hard drive cages that are removable, the motherboard tray, like everything should be put together with screws instead of riveted in. That way you can completely dismantle the case down to all its individual pieces if you want and put it back together. Makes it so much easier for modifying or doing things like that. Yep.
Yep.
It's a XFX double dissipation.
Hell yeah. Love this. I love this card.
That's the 285, right? R9 285?
Oh yeah. I love my card. And now I got my, well, I better unplug that. I got my Wi-Fi adapter. Just in case whenever I move, you know, I'm in the military, so you never know when you're going to be moving and don't have a direct wire straight to the internet. So that is the Rose Wheel
Absolutely.
PCI card. And it's the older type bus, but it still works great. Not very good on ping time, though. And I got a USB 3.0 card here, which hasn't been working right. Hopefully, when I put it in the new case, it works. But I'm not too worried about it for a second. That's some Japanese card, by the way.
Yeah, there you go. It's like you're holding it way too high.
Did they see this one too?
It's your your wireless card? Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so I'm gonna have to take out hard drives and optical drives and format it. I can pop this off. Gotta be gentle, but a little bit of pressure. Oh, I forgot the shit hangs on there. If you guys didn't know what case this is, it's the Deep Cool Test Rack. It's very good if you want something that's semi-decent quality that you can start off a good system in. Don't recommend it for any type of water cooling at all. Ever. In this case. Corsair cases? Yes. This case right here that I got to my left. Right, can everybody see what I'm looking at? Okay. This case over to my left, which you can't quite see, has all that room that I need. It has dust filters and dude, did you know this shit has case has like sound dampening shit in it?
I did not know that. I know the one of the computer store I used to work at. It was last year when I left there. I was looking at buying a couple of those for the stock for the cases that they sold in there.
Yeah.
It wasn't out yet at the time though.
But yeah, it's like pre-built. It's in the side panels. Pretty much in the side panels to keep all the noise out. Alright, so that's done. Grab this cable that's just hanging out there. Taking out all the hard drives. Couple odd hard drives I got here. One's at 1 terabyte and one's at 1.
Don't set those on the carpet.
One's at 1.5. Bed. There we go. Then I got my SSD and a laptop drive, which I use for any flow over data from my SSD. There we go. And yeah, I think it's time for the. No, I'm gonna take these out. Yeah, I forgot how much cable.
Is that your 8-pin CPU that's like routed through the middle of the board like that?
Say what?
Is that your 8-pin CPU power that's routed through the middle of the board right there?
It's right here. What are you talking about?
The black cable running on the other side of the CPU block. It's running from the power supply on the bottom, like right up the middle of the board, up to the top. It looks like the CPU power.
No, that's my 4-pin going up to.
That's the CPU power.
Oh.
Yeah, the 24-pin, the big one, that's the motherboard power. That's the one on the side. But yeah, that one up at the top is for the CPU.
I forgot about that.
When you get it in the next case, I'd recommend it. It looks a lot cleaner, and that 300R should absolutely have a big enough opening for it and support it. You should route that cable out one of the grommets right there by the power supply and up the back side of the motherboard tray, and there should be a little opening right at the top to pop that 4-pin power through and plug it into the board that way. That way you don't see the cable running across the motherboard.
Well, another thing is I'm gonna have to route that. That has to be one of my first things I route because it's not the longest cable.
Yeah.
I have to be kind of cautious with that. I love modular cables.
Yep. How do you have your power supply oriented right now? Is it intaking from the top or intaking from below the case?
The bottom, since my graphics card's so damn close to it. There we go.
That's the way you want to set it up. You want your power supply intaking from underneath.
Yeah.
That way it doesn't, none of the power supply air gets into the case at all. It's completely isolated.
Oh yeah. And on this case, it's actually has a filter on it. And here in a second I'll show you that these are brought in a lot of air. I had the air circulation in this completely wrong. Do not recommend it at all how I did it.
Here, I have a quick suggestion. The camera angle is just really tight. Is there any way that you could possibly back the camera, like just back it up a little bit so we get a little bit more field of view?
Yeah. How's that?
To the right just a little bit. Yeah, there you go. That's almost perfect.
Okay. Alright, so taking off the motherboards. I'm going to do the inner screws first. It's kind of my setup. I didn't have these, and people kept fucking with it. So I was like, you know what? I'm getting a grill for it. I'm gonna lose those. That's one thing about upgrading everything. You gotta remember not to lose any screws.
Couple of great things for that I recommend. So for anybody else that's watching, when you do this kind of work, if you got a couple of bucks and you got a local hardware store, run down the hardware store, get one of those magnetic bowls. It's got like a rubber piece on the base. You can stick it to just about anything that's magnetized. So the base of it's magnetized to stick to stuff. So you could have it sideways. You could have it upside down underneath vehicles and stuff. You could have it wherever you want to stick it. But it also magnetizes the bowl itself. So when you just drop screws in it and they stick into the bowl, it's one of the best things for keeping screws. Now, granted, that's going to be everything dumped in one bowl. So what I use is I actually picked myself up, and they're real cheap too, only a couple of bucks. Go to Walmart, you can find them, or any store that, like a drugstore or something, and get yourself a Monday through Sunday pill organizer. So it's got like the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday like slots, and you just pop the cap open, and it's for storing pills. It's perfect for separating screws. Like if you're doing a laptop, you do all your external screws in Monday, and then do like all your top screws in Tuesday, and all the motherboard screws in Wednesday, and so on and so forth. Or you just do them in the order that you take things out, and then all you have to do is go backwards when you put it all back together, and it helps to keep things organized. I quite literally carry around like 2 or 3 of those with me with all the computer work that I do because they're just perfect for carrying screws.
Or you can be a boss like me and just know where the screws go.
Yeah, well, I mean, everything's standard. See, that's one of the things I see a lot of people get overwhelmed with that. They're like, oh my God, there's so many screws. And it's like, well, for the most part, I mean, laptops can be a little confusing, I guess, but for desktop computers, there's really 2 different screw thread sizes, and that's it. You have the standard screws that you use to like mount hard drives, to mount the PCI brackets, to mount the power supply, stuff like that. That is like the standard case screw. You also have one that's slightly smaller with a tighter thread count.
Take a look at this.
That is where you mount 5 1/4 drives, like
Yeah,
optical
dude.
drives.
Take a look at this shit. Look at all the dust. Oh my god, dude, this is
Did you have those blowing down through the PS or through the radiator, or exhausting?
going down.
Blowing down. Yeah. See,
That was
if
my
you
mistake.
if you're pushing air through the radiator with fans, you're always going to build up a layer of dust between the fans and the radiator, which is a bitch to clean. Which is why in a setup where you're not doing push-pull, you're usually going to get a better. It's going to be easier for cleaning, and the difference is going to be negligible. It might even be better if you just put the fans sucking air through the radiator. So in other words, keep them on the top like that, but have them blowing up out of the case and have the radiator on the bottom. That way your layer of dust builds up on the bottom of the radiator on the bare fins, and it's real easy to just use some canned air to blow it off. And you don't really build up air in between the fans and the radiator. So you don't have to go disassembling everything to clean it.
Yeah, luckily for me, this little filter between my front that came with my case kind of
just the grill there helps kind of do that.
It kept a lot of the dust from getting into
the radiator itself.
Yeah, which I'm kind of glad now. I knew I needed to change it. I knew I needed a new case and I don't recommend this either, but I stabbed a hole through my case so I can mount these on top. Don't recommend it at all. Now I gotta try to figure out how I can get them out. Right? There we go. Almost out. Come on.
Anything can be done with the proper application of force.
Yep. In this case,
I mean, it may not turn out the way you wanted it to, but anything can happen with the proper application of force. That's gross.
Yeah, it is.
Get yourself some Q-tips and a little bit of rubbing alcohol.
It's gonna get dusty again. Right now, I just want to get my PC back and up and running. Alright, time for the second one. Hopefully I can get it out a bit quicker. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, I know you want to get the PC back up and running as quick as you can, but this is your opportunity. This is a perfect opportunity right now, since you have to pull everything out anyway, to have everything nice and sparkly clean to go into the new case.
Yeah. So many connectors. People would be freaking out by now. But I'm not, because I know where everything goes. See, that's the thing.
You gonna leave the radiator attached to the motherboard?
Yeah. It's gonna be something I gotta hold on to.
Just be careful.
Yeah.
Those fins bend super easy if you set it down on something that's got a... don't accidentally set it down on your side panel there with those little metal pieces sticking out, because it'll dent the fins real quick.
Yeah. This is not the fun part. At all. I hate this part because, for one, you have to unplug everything.
Yep, yep.
You gotta get your hands in little spots, like right now I'm trying to get the SATA connectors out, which are delicate little motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's I prefer to use the slightly nicer, higher end SATA cables that actually have metal clips on them, which are great. It prevents them from coming out. But that's exactly the point. When you go to take them out, it prevents them from coming out, and so they're a real pain in the ass to unclip. Especially when you have them stacked one on, when they do the ones where it's coming out of the side and they're stacked on top of each other, it can be a real pain in the ass.
Yeah, I'm having a pain in the ass time right now. Got it.
So you're not the only person doing an upgrade today. A friend of mine just sent me a picture on Facebook. He just got his GeForce GTX 970 and a 120 gig SSD for his upgrade.
Nice.
He's gonna be a happy camper today too.
Oh yeah. I think I got everything unplugged. Yeah. Time for the
I'll be
power.
right back, bud. I gotta get a refill.
Okay. But yeah, guys, right now I unplugged everything, power cables, PCI cables, modular cables. And right now I'm about to yank the power supply, my 800 or 900 watt. Yeah, it's 900. I'll double check. There we go. Worst thing about what I'm doing right now is I'm doing it on black carpet, and it's not the easiest. Oh,
I was gonna bring my cat in on the stream, but he looked at me with that look like, "You shitting me? No, I'm staying right here where I'm at."
oh wow.
I was just saying that damn cat's becoming as bad as a little dog. He just stands around in the kitchen waiting for people to drop food.
Oh wow. Your cat's like that?
Yeah, well, he's getting that way now. He's old. He's really old. He's like 17,
Dude,
which is in cat years, that's like equivalent to like being like 105 years old as a human or something crazy like that. Like
Oh.
he's an old man. He's getting up there in age.
Hey, what do you recommend? Should I put my motherboard in first?
Yeah, absolutely.
Alright. So, I'll just
Yeah, I usually go in the order of motherboard and then power supply, but you've already got your radiator attached, so you might want to put your like figure out how you want to mount your fans for the radiator before you put it into the new case. And just take a look around and kind of get an idea in your head of how your cables are going to end up getting routed. Because anything that the motherboard and radiator is going to interfere with, you might want to go ahead and put that in first. But yeah, typically I put in the motherboard first, and then I'll put in the power supply, and
oh yeah.
and then I'll put in any radiators or anything like that.
This case has plenty of room for radiators.
You should have enough room in that case to do all your to route all your cables through the grommets to the back side of the motherboard tray, and you should have tie down points on the back where you can use zip ties or what works really well too, because the case Corsair usually does this with their cases. You should have a little baggie that came inside the box that has black zip ties in it.
Yeah.
Although as awesome as zip ties are for everyone that's watching when you do builds like this, I've done more builds than I could possibly. I cannot count how many builds that I've done because I've done just so many different builds. But
Oh
I
yeah.
actually like keeping, so anytime you get anything, like when you buy a new power supply, all the cables come bound with those little like black twist ties.
Mhm.
And a lot of products come bound with those little twist ties. Keep those things. Like get an extra drawer, a little cup or something, and always keep those from every product you
Yeah.
get. Those little metal twist tie things, because those are even better than zip ties because you don't have to cut them off and risk cutting your cables, and they will hold almost as tight.
I,
It's a
I
great
got
way to
I got a big thing of uh what the hell is it called?
Velcro.
Yeah, Velcro that
Yep,
I meant.
that works well too. I just use that as a suggestion, as it doesn't cost you anything extra, you know?
Mhm.
Like, Velcro you got to go buy, zip ties you got to go buy. Those little twist ties, you pretty much get them with everything. Oh my God, you're making me so nervous with that radiator sitting on top. I'm so afraid it's going to fall off.
Don't trust me, man. Don't trust me. I see how it is. Uh, It'll be fine, man. I trust myself enough. Little card reader I got.
Those things are great for anybody who does any type of media work at all, photo, video, whatever. You should have one of those, and if you can get one that mounts in your case, even better.
I'm gonna see if I can somehow put it higher.
Woohoo! Man boobies. I dig it.
I like that better, don't you?
Yeah, that works good. You might want to scoot back just a hair, but yeah, that's a good angle. No, 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 not the camera, not the camera. Like you and the case. Like scoot the case back towards you just a hair. Boom, there you go. Perfect.
It's okay, guys. It's not broken. I'm using it anyway, so don't recommend having that sound happen to you. But okay, I can shove all that in there. Um, some extra cables. I know one of them goes to my corsair link. Yep. And
I'm gonna try to cover what I think I see here for anybody who might be watching. So the fans that you pulled off your radiator are the ones that obviously came with it stock. Those are they're basically Corsair SP120 fans, but those are actually the model number on them slightly different because they're the generic black and gray version rather than the ones with black fins. Those don't have the little rubber mounts in the corners. Like like the regular SP120s do, but they're still fantastic fans.
there we go.
I personally I replaced mine with some SP120s because they come with the white, red, and blue rings that you can
Right.
accent them with. So I've got red rings on mine, obviously, because I've got a black and red theme going. But yeah,
See,
that H100i is a fantastic cooler. I highly recommend it.
you know what's cool is that one of the motherboard saddles in the middle, like all it is a straight tab. Doesn't have anything for a screw. It's like a guide point. All right, I think it's time to take this bitch out. I don't even have all the screws for these things. It's kind of sad, isn't it?
Hey, it happens.
So I can always go online and buy more.
It's actually something that irritates me about the H100i. It's like my one of my few negatives about it
What's that?
is the it doesn't come with enough of the long screws
Yeah,
for you to do a push-pull configuration out of the box.
I didn't even know that. I was thinking about actually doing that.
Yeah, I mean you can make it work, but it takes some uh, like basically all you have to do is you take the 4 long screws they give you and you just use 2 per fan. Or I'm sorry, they give you 8 screws, which is enough to hook 2 fans up. They don't give you 16 screws. So you can take the 8 screws and split them and just do 2 screws per fan, and that usually works. I mean, I did that for a little while and it didn't generate that much noise. But I just didn't like how much space it took up in my case and how low the radiator sat with the fans and push-pull, and I didn't see a benefit. I didn't actually see any noticeable temperature difference. So I just went to a simple push configuration. So my fans are on the bottom of my radiator blowing up through the fins out the top of the case.
Man, that slot's running through 8x. That
What was
second
that?
that second slot I was running on,
Mm-hmm.
it's running on 8x.
For your video card?
Yeah.
You wanna put that up in the top slot because that's gonna be the only one on that motherboard that's wired for 16x.
But the
Because that's
thing is,
probably not an SLI certified motherboard, is it?
yeah, it is.
It is? Okay. Yeah, but that's a 16x 8x. And I think that second port down, or the second PCI Express down, like you've got the X16 and then you've got an X1 and then you've got an X8, and that's physically wired as an X8. It doesn't just like run as a X8.
Yeah, if you look at it
So that might actually, like, if you switch that when you get in the new case, you might actually see a performance increase.
but the thing
Probably
is
not a huge one, but you should see something.
the thing is whenever I hook that up, I get a lot of glitches in my video. That's part of the. I had it in there originally, but I took it out because of that very reason.
Yeah.
Alright. Motherboard's going in the new case. Woohoo! Okay, pushing this over. I'm gonna push this. Actually, I need that part. I need the I/O panel. It's kind of important. Push that kind of out of the frame. Time for the new one. I think this was a little bit heavier. Just a little bit. Push that there. Oh man, they did the fan connector right. They actually have it all already bundled up for me. I like that. For when I plug it in, it's already all bundled up. That's cool.
Yeah, they kind of slightly pre-route some of the stuff for you. But if you flip that new case over and just kind of look at the back of the motherboard tray, you can see where all the tie down points are and how it's got a nice area already designed for you there, where the grommets are.
Yeah, they got
Well,
one.
that's unfortunate. I would have thought that. Are there rubber? Is there rubber in the grommets?
No,
No,
unfortunately.
it's just bare, but it's rolled edges, right?
Yeah, it's rolled edge,
Yeah.
which I kind of. The rubber over time it degrades.
If you live in an extremely dry environment, yes, it will start to dry rot. But I mean, you're talking 5-6 years down the road. I mean, it'll take a long time for it to start getting to that point.
Hey, this is metal. I mean magnetic. It's
Yep.
cool.
Oh, magnets. Magnets are amazing.
This front panel right here.
I seriously doubt anybody who's any kind of a case manufacturer would ever be, well, not ever, but would be watching this right now. But just in case there randomly might be at some point in time, case manufacturers, magnets on everything. Like if there's a spot where you can use a magnet, use a flippin' magnet because they're amazing.
Yeah.
With the exception of maybe like the hard drive cages. We don't need to magnetize the mechanical hard drives into the case. That would be a bad thing.
Oh yeah, that would definitely be a bad thing. I always hate the I/O because you never know when it's exactly in there, right? never, ever know. Oh, there we go. See what I'm saying? You can never know when that bitch is in there exactly right. Yeah, I'm not fucking with it anymore. I actually fucked up one of these before.
Oh, so while you're doing that, a little note, because my other friend who's doing the same thing as you right now, putting a new video card and stuff in his case, he was just saying, "Oh man, don't you just hate it whenever you have to let Windows do updates, install updates while it's shutting down before you can install it? Like you shutting it down so you can reinstall your operating system, and Windows still has to download updates."
Yeah.
And if you didn't know already, in Windows 7, I believe it works in Windows 8 and 8.1 as well. If you hit Control-Alt-Delete and bring the splash screen up, that's like, launch Task Manager, change your password, blah, 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 all those options. If you go down to the bottom right corner, there's a shutdown button. If you click the arrow to expand that, there's a shutdown and do not install updates option. So if you ever have updates pending and you're like, I need to shut this thing down and get it started back up quick, and I don't need to spend 20 minutes waiting for Windows to install its updates, you can bypass that right there, just like you used to be able to do in Windows XP. It just doesn't give you the option from the start menu shutdown. You have to go into the Control-Alt-Delete screen. So little tidbit for everybody out there.
Well, I'm about to get the screws off of this other piece. Came in a handy dandy little bag here. I like it. This little bag is all it came with this case.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need much. A couple of extra screws, some zip ties.
Telling me about the whole fan on the front for what are these long screws for? Oh, those are for fans. My bad. I wasn't thinking about that. They gave me like extended fan screws.
Nice.
There we go. I think it's these ones. I'm gonna find something for these on. Paperworks. There we go. A lot of the times with the motherboard screws, they're like the softer, edged screws. A little bit not as fine of a thread in them. Wait, no. That's not the right screw. Don't listen to me. That's the wrong screw. I think that's hard drive screws. Forget. You know what? You know when you screw things in, it's like, yeah, this isn't it. Carl?
What was that?
You know when you screw things in and it's like, yeah, that's not the right size? Or the right.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, I need to. I'm taking on.
Typically, the screws you're going to want for the motherboard are going to be, they're not going to have the hexed top like the rest of the case screws have. They're going to be like a flatter kind of rounded top.
Fan screws. Fan long screw. Okay. Those were the right ones. I just fucking wrong. I had to double check. I was like, these are the right screws. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, dude. Hey, look, not exactly, but this kind of saying can be adapted to almost any situation like this. Measure twice, cut once. It never hurt. Like, always double check. Always check the instructions if you have a single doubt, because you'd rather spend 30 seconds extra checking the instructions or double checking and making sure you got it right than screwing it up and damaging something.
Yeah, I was making sure that these were the right screws. And these are the right screws. Okay. Oh, and learn a lesson from me. Don't put motorsport screws in when you got everything else in here already. What the fuck? I guess you gotta really tighten these down to get them in there. Alright. These screws are a little bit different. I didn't do that, did I? Okay. Just double checking everything. This is like the first time I've actually done this right. You know what I'm saying, Carl? Before I've always like rushed this thing together. That's probably the reason why my system was kind of always warm.
Yeah, I mean, rushing too much can lead to mistakes. I'm sure you guys have a similar saying in the Army. We used to have a saying when I was in the Navy that is slow is smooth, smooth is fast. So, with anything you do, go slow, take your time, and the more you do it, the smoother you will become, and then the faster you will become because of that. So, like, I can do an entire build from, components in box to booted sitting on a Windows 7 desktop in an hour from start to finish.
Yeah. Me too.
For everything, and that could be like I've never seen the case before. I have no idea what I'm walking into. Like I can do it fairly quickly, but that's because I've probably built well over 100 different systems throughout my life. So I've got that experience on it. If you don't do it on a regular basis, then yeah, it's going to take you a little bit longer. But you should take that time and go slow because I mean we're not talking about Legos here. We're talking about an expensive investment.
Fuck yeah, man. It's not cheap. I probably got a good grand wrapped up in just this. Oh, did I just do that? Did I just do that? It's alright. It's one screw. Now I gotta get the damn screw out. You know the third screw by the PCI slots? In the middle between
Yeah, you typically have like what, 2 in the top, 2 in the middle, and 2 in the bottom. 6 is usually what it is, unless it's an extended ATX, and then you'll get 9 screws.
There we go.
That case doesn't have the little nipple in the middle.
I needed one more standoff that I don't have in there right now. I guess
standoffs, man. Let me give a warning to anybody out there. Standoffs. Always stick your motherboard down in the case and see where the screws need to go and make sure you're using the correct screw holes. If you look, most motherboard trays will have a little chart on there that says like ATX, MATX, EATX, whatever sizes it supports, with letters next to each one of the sizes. And if you look at the screw holes where the standoffs go, each hole is going to be labeled with a couple of letters, and that lets you know which screw holes are associated with which type motherboard size. So you should always double check that against each other, because sticking a standoff in the right spot and then putting the motherboard down can either damage the PCB or cause a short. real quick. I've had systems not post because of that. So yeah, always be real careful with your standoffs.
Oh, the little thing. Keep everything, which is what I have right
Yep,
now.
motherboard box is a perfect thing to just shove everything in and then stick it in the closet.
What I'm looking for is the screws for to put in my radiator on the top. I don't know where those screws are. Real life problems right now.
So I get to give you crap now because earlier you were like, oh, because I'm awesome and I know where all the screws are.
Yeah, you can give me crap.
I gotta give you shit, man.
Can I use it? Oh, yep, those are the right screws. See, if this cooler comes with case.
Well, yeah, just mounting the cooler directly to the case. It should be the standard case screws with the hex top. That's well, you can screw them in with a hex driver or with a Phillips driver.
These screws are like a little bit extended, and with my Corsair case here, it has rubber grommets, so I need the extra length.
Yep.
It actually has like a rubber thing that you put it through. Like it was made for this cooler.
Yeah, and if you look, there should be. I don't know how the top of that case is set up, but if it supports 120 and 140, the rubber grommets, you can move them. There should be multiple sets of holes.
There is.
Yep.
And mine is already pre-configured for the
120.
Yeah, for the H100i.
Yeah.
Those there. Always start with like one and then work your way across. How does it look from your side? Like, can you see exactly what I'm doing at all times? Or at least have a good idea?
Say it again.
Do you have a good idea of what I'm doing at all times? Like the camera showing everything?
Oh yeah, I can see just fine.
Okay.
Well, I know what you're doing because I've done this many times, so I know exactly what you're doing as I see it. I mean, the quality is not the highest that it could be, but I think it's good enough to tell what's going on.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh God, that motherboard though, that
What
brown
about?
PCB, man.
Well, the good thing is it has no open side panel, so you're not gonna see it anyway.
Oh, that's good.
I gotta be careful when I screw these in because these rubber things will make it fall through.
I guess my only other thing that I could ever have as a negative with the H100i is the LED on it and the Corsair Link software. Once you
Yeah,
have the LED color set, if you shut your computer down correctly and restart it, it'll stay proper. But if you have like a blue screen or a power loss or something like that, it never goes back to the color it was when the power died. It'll be like, for me, mine will be like a pinkish color, like almost
that's
white.
that's exactly what happens to
Yep.
mine.
And then as soon as I get it back loaded up again, I got to go in the Corsair Link software and individually pull each color like all the way down and all the way up and then back
So
down, and then I can go back to the red and slide it up, and then it actually becomes red. Because if I just try to like slide the red up, it starts doing funky stuff where the colors aren't right. So I have
yeah,
to kind of like manually reset each one of the color sliders to get the color correct again.
at
And
least at least I know
they've
I'm not,
updated the software 3 or 4 times, and that still has never been fixed. So
at least I know I'm not the only one that has that happen to me.
it's a driver issue. It's absolutely hands down 100% a driver issue.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna hook up the corsair link on this one, just because it's all
It
closed off and you really can't see the LED anyway.
There's no point in it if that's the only element in your case that is using link. There's no point in using up a USB header on your motherboard just for that.
Yeah.
I
So
utilize it because I've got a Corsair 760i power supply, which is a full digital power supply, and it runs with Corsair Link. So I can actually in real time monitor all of my power levels, how much current is on the 12-volt rail, how much power draw my system's doing. So I know exactly how much power it takes to run my system at idle, at full load, at whatever. And it's even got a thing in there where I can go in and split the single rail into multi-rail and like give dedicated power to like a video card or dedicated power to another peripheral or something like that. I've never messed with it, but it's the options are there if you want to play with it.
yeah, which unless you know what you're doing, I would fuck with it.
See, that's me. Like I've done it. I know a lot of this stuff. I still won't tinker with that stuff because it's like I've never had to mess with multi-rail stuff, and I don't want to risk it damaging anything.
Unless you're
You know.
doing something like extreme, there's really no need for it. You know what I'm saying? There's no need for it unless it's required. Like if you're having power problems and you're running that thing to its limit, you might need it then. But until then, I wouldn't fuck with it. All right, that's they're good. Those rubber grommets are nice. Time for the fans. What I'm curious now is once I get these fans in, would there ever be enough space for uh and push pull configuration? So I'm gonna hook these up, but they're gonna be pulling up. They're gonna be coming out. So
Yeah.
that's that's how I'm gonna be setting them up.
Yeah, if you're gonna set them up to exhaust out the top, I'd say install the fans first, exhausting out the top, and then the side that has the supports is the side the air blows out of.
Yeah.
So it has the four little plastic pieces. You want that facing up, and you want the logo pointing down.
Wait, what?
So the side of the fan that's open, it's just bare and open, and it has the logo. The logo, yeah, you want that facing down.
Yeah, I almost did that by mistake.
Yep,
Thank you.
because the air blows out the other side of the fan. That's the airflow direction.
This, if anybody's watching, this is why I have Carl here because fuck something up. This
Oh,
little
I will admit I did have to cheat on that for a second. I had to glance over at my case and look at my front fans and be like, which side is facing me? Okay, the side with the supports is facing me. That means the airflow comes that direction.
there's
So
arrows on the kit on the fan.
yeah, there normally most fans will put arrows to show you the direction of rotation and the direction of airflow, but
Yeah,
not all do. And sometimes they put them in like funky spots, and it's just like a little tiny piece of mold. Like the plastic itself has like a little bump, like a raised spot for the arrows, and it's hard to see sometimes. So, if you buy a new fan, just look around on the edges of the fan. You'll usually find, a sideways arrow and an up and down arrow to show you the rotation and the
yeah.
airflow direction.
My question is like, I got this. Am I gonna have to leave this open because I have this? My question is, this is gonna let air come in. I mean, come out. I'm very, very interested in that. I'm gonna try it with it and without, and I'm gonna see what's happening. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The thing is about moving cases is I know everything in here works. And people are like, oh, that's going to be a pain in the ass. I'm like, no, it's not. All you got to do is move everything. And then once you got everything moved, you know it works. So all you got to do is plug it in and it works. You don't have to constantly take it apart and put it back together. Take it apart, put it back together. You know it works. So you don't fuck with it anymore than you need to. That's part of the reason why people suggest if you're going to put something together, put it together and make sure it works outside the box. That way, if it's, what is it called? Dead on arrival? DOA? Oh my god. That screw's going to be a bitch.
Feel like I'm working tech support right now because I'm on the call with you, giving you tips on building on the case, and I got my other buddy blowing me up on Facebook chat, being like, "Is this the right orientation for this 2-pin and 6-pin to make the 8-pin and blah 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 blah."
Oh wow. Wow. Alright, so that's in there. Shouldn't have to worry about that. See, these screws that are like really, really close to, it's really hard to get into like the screwdriver into place. So
Oh, actually, hang on a second. Sorry, you're doing it wrong.
what are you talking about?
You don't want to screw the You don't want to screw the fans in to the case like that. You want to take the long screws and bring it in from the top and go through the fan into the top of the radiator. So you sandwiching the fan between the top of the case and the radiator.
No, I'm gonna try it like this. That way, I'm grabbing air directly from the outside and shoving
Well,
it.
yeah, but what are you gonna screw? What are you gonna screw the radiator into?
It's already screwed onto the case.
Oh, you already have it in there. Okay, you're blowing through the radiator.
Yeah, I'm blowing through the radiator. I figured that it would give it a better cooling.
Yeah, that's how I have mine. It's pushing through the radiator. But like I said before, the only downfall to that is it will build up a layer of dust between the fan and the radiator, so you'll have to pull those fans out to clean the dust off the bottom of the fins. That's
But
the
then,
only downfall. The other way you could do it is have them pulling air through the radiator out the top of the case.
Oh shit, where'd that go? That screw just went somewhere. Where the fuck did it go? Okay, I got a little push screw. I need that screw. Where did that screw go? Motherfucker. It just jumped off and there it is. Don't do that with short screws. It's a very bad idea with short screws. I've done it and I'd have to. I ended up looking for it for like 5-10 minutes. Shag carpet is not your friend. Do not listen to me when it comes to that.
Sorry, I got a request for somebody on Facebook that I was like, who is this?
What are you talking about?
And somebody added me as a friend on Facebook that I don't know who it is. It could be a follower, but just, I always research these things because you never know when it might be like a hacker account or a bot or something like that.
Or a fake.
Yep.
I've had a couple of those go after me before. It's no fun. It's no fun at all. They like to play with your head. I had somebody on Skype do that to me. I fucked with them instead, though. The guy got desperate. He actually started typing by himself.
Oh. So you're asking me a question about something?
I don't remember.
You got 4 people watching.
Really?
Well, I'm one of those people because I got the stream up on another tab. It's just muted. So you got 3 other people watching. I
Oh,
know
really?
Tom. I'm pretty sure Tom Nickel is one of them. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to say your last name on air. If you were being protective of that, apologize. Um, but yeah, Tom from Setup Addicts group that we've chatted with before. But I do believe he is watching because he was chatting with me on Facebook chat.
Okay. Well, if they say anything, let me know. Because I have no. I'm not looking at the chat at the very moment.
Only thing Tom said so far was he was just waiting for the radiator to fall off the case, and he smiled.
Didn't fall off. Got close. Last screw. That's the bitch one. So many screws suck. This is definitely meant to be put on without the thing already on the CPU.
Yeah, that's why it's always helpful to get some like a little some of those screwdrivers that are like real short, stubby screwdrivers.
Yeah, but that wouldn't help
Um,
the
they're
situation.
great for working inside of a case like that. I mean, you need a combination. You need both. You need a long screwdriver for like doing motherboard screws, or if you got to do a situation where you got to go like in a weird spot where you have to drop down like through a hole or something in order to screw a screw that's behind like a hard drive cage or something like
Yeah,
that. But then it also is helpful to have a second screwdriver that's like a little short, stubby one in order to do those like tight spots like that where you don't have that clearance.
yeah.
Um, or precision screwdrivers, those work well too.
So I have that done. I'm gonna start with my hard drives, and I'm gonna get those turned over to the new bays.
I also like to go with the kind of hard drives, the kind of screwdrivers that have they have a little piece like on the end that turns, so that way you can like hold it in your hand and like spin the screwdriver with your fingers, and it'll like
Oh yeah, like
turn. You know what I'm
Linus.
talking about?
Yeah, like what Linus uses.
Yes, exactly. So screwdrivers like that are absolutely amazing. They will save your forearms muscles and so much.
Yeah. So I want that going this way. So yeah, okay.
Because I don't know if others suffer from that, but I I'll get like carpal tunnel or similar type of issues will flare up real quick if I start doing too much. Like for example, a screwdriver. If I'm having to sit there and work on something where I'm using an old school traditional manual screwdriver like what you have there, my
Yeah,
arms will get tired real quick, and then my carpal tunnel area will start to strain itself, and it'll start to swell up, and
oh wow.
then it just sucks for the rest of the day.
Jesus Christ.
Well, that's what carpal tunnel is you overuse the muscles in that there's a tunnel that runs right through the center of your wrist, and there's a bunch of veins and nerves and stuff that run through there, and it's surrounded by muscles that are your wrist muscles. And if you overuse those muscles, they will swell with use, and as they swell, they'll cause that tunnel to get pinched off, and it'll cause the nerves to pinch and the tendons and stuff that are in there, which will cause numbness to start to develop and pain and things like that, and it becomes more difficult to use your hand.
Yeah.
Um, there's a little medical lesson for everyone. I am not a doctor, so don't use me for medical advice. But yeah, it sucks.
Let's see.
I remember wearing a wrist brace when I was in high school for like 6 months because I had a Nintendo 64 and I discovered Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey, and there was oh, not Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey. No, no, no. It was 1080 snowboarding. Is SX Tricky or something like that.
Yeah. I'm gonna
There's a
check.
song. There was an old rap song that used to go that it was like get tricky, get tricky. You know the song I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't
So it was
remember.
that snowboarding game, and of course, in order to do like uh, um, 360s or 540s in the air with your snowboard, you had to sit and like spin the joystick. And sitting there and just doing that all day long, playing this game, trying to get all these tricks, I literally killed my wrists to the point where I could not play video games for like 6 months, and I had to wear a wrist rest every day and take like medication for it.
Oh wow.
Sucked.
How many times were you in the doctor for that?
A few times, but I mean, this is like I'm saying, this was 15 years ago. You know, this is when I was in high school.
Yeah. By the way, guys, if you have a good eye, then you can have shag carpet. But just make sure you're watching where your screws drop. I just dropped both my screws both times trying to
Is
get them
it
in.
black carpet?
This is shag carpet.
Yeah,
Shag
yeah,
black.
but is it black?
It's black.
That's nice.
I love this carpet, but it has its downfalls.
Is it actually a rug, or is it just like a cut square of carpet, of actual like carpet?
No, it's it's an actual rug.
Okay, nice.
Sorry, clearing my throat. You know what's funny is that this thing has just enough bays for my hard drives. Just enough. So I'll get a new hard drive when one of these hard drives fails. So that's how it's gonna go. It's got an SSD mount, but it didn't come with the actual cage mount for it. You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like in the back of the motherboard tray, it has one of those mounts, but it didn't come with the bracket for it. I didn't find it anywhere where I got it. It's weird. Okay, what was I doing? Okay, last cage. I actually have to remove one of these, like, the hard drives, like, they're toolless. They come with these, like, rubber things with these, little, like, I don't know what they're called, but they're little metal pieces that make it so it shoves it in there and keeps it from moving. I have to remove one of them to be able to get these three, 2.5 millimeter, right?
Mm-hmm.
In order to get them in. It's kind of sucks. Keeping all these screws though.
At least they made trays that give you the ability to have a 2.5-inch drive on it.
Yeah, at least they got the holes and all that for it. Because if it didn't, I'd be like, oh my god. I just dropped that screw on it. So, how's everybody's day? Let me know if anybody says anything. Alright,
Well, my day's going good so far.
that's good. What'd you do today?
I woke up hella late because we stayed up super late with you
Yeah,
guys.
I looked at the time, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to bed.
Yep. Oh no, you were already asleep. We all stayed up after I was done with the stream, which was past midnight Central Time. We were up and chatting on a hangout. Me and my buddy Jeremy and William from Setup Addicts, he joined in with us, and Tyler was there for a little while. And we hung out until about 3:30 in the morning. Well,
Oh.
that's whenever I got off the call. I think William and Jeremy were still in there chatting away whenever I got out.
Oh, wow. Alright, hard drives are in.
But and then I slept until about 11 o'clock my time and got woken up with a text message that said, "Do you want Dairy Queen?" And I said, "Hell yeah, I want Dairy Queen."
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Okay.
And I made a update video for my channel, for my YouTube channel, posted that, and now I'm hanging out with you.
Hell yeah, man. Holy shit, there's a fin. Dude, there's
Fan
a
controller?
yeah. It's like hidden. I seen it in the description, but I didn't quite believe it till now.
I have mixed feelings about those. If you don't have enough headers on your motherboard to plug all your fans in that you have, then a
Yeah.
fan controller is great. But otherwise, I say plug them into your motherboard fan headers, because then your motherboard, because a lot of the fan control curves and stuff in the BIOS in the UEFI for motherboards has gotten a lot better nowadays, and that way your fans can auto ramp up and down with the temperature rather
Yeah.
than rather than you having to manually remember, like, oh, hey, why are my temps so high? Oh crap, all my fans are running on low. I need to turn up the switch to high. Um, I just, yeah, I don't. I'm not a big fan of the ones where you have to switch it low, medium, high. I like my fans to have, a controlled curve where they'll just automatically ramp on their own.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
As a matter of fact, if your motherboard, this is how I set up my H100i, and this is something you might want to check out while you're hooking everything up, is look at your motherboard and see if you definitely have one fan header that's labeled as CPU fan.
Yep.
You might have a second one right next to it or near it that says CPU optional. The CPU optional header is slaved off of the CPU fan header if you have one, which means
I
that
have
they run the exact same voltage, which
I
means
have
whatever fans you have plugged into both run on the exact same fan curve, which is
okay.
great for dual fans on a radiator. Then you can plug those two fans into those two headers, and they'll be controlled by the CPU temperature control on the motherboard. And then for the pump block, instead of plugging the pump block into the CPU fan header like it tells you in the instructions, just plug that directly into a SATA connector or a Molex connector um, off your power supply, and that way the pump will just run full speed all the time, no big deal, and your
Oh, well,
fans will actually get ramped up and down by the motherboard control.
something that I didn't see when I initially put this together is that when the H100i is in there, you can't put an optical drive in that place.
Oh
Exactly.
yeah, yeah, you totally lose the ability to use your 5 1/4 bays when you put a top mounted.
Not when it comes to this.
Yeah, that's gonna be fine, but your optical drive is.
I didn't notice that. I put it in. I'm like, oh shit. I was like,
But look, let's be honest. How often do you really need an optical drive anymore these
every
days?
once in a while, installing.
Okay, so go on Amazon, pick yourself up a SATA 3 to USB or a SATA to USB adapter. It'll power the drive and it'll run off of a single USB port, and you just keep the optical drive off to the side. When you need it, you pull that connector out and plug it into a USB port. Use it when you're done. Stick it back in a drawer. Done.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I just have an extra optical drive sitting in a drawer with one of those SATA adapters, SATA to USB adapters. I pull it out when I need it. Otherwise, it stays put away.
Yeah. Okay. That is not moving. I really like the mounting system on the optical drive bays. I mean, spot on. You can line those bitches up perfect. My only complaint is, alright, so let me grab one of my SD cards, plug it in, and see if I can shut my case. Um, well, that's close. I'm not able to shut it with this card in, but it's okay. I can shut it part way. Oh well. Okay, that's done. I think I'm gonna run SATA cables now. I think that's my next priority. SATA connect. I think I'm gonna put my power supply in last. Power supply and graphics card in last. I'm gonna make sure everything's hooked up first. What do you think? Hello.
Sorry, I was answering another tech question. What was that?
Putting my power supply in last and my graphics card in last.
A graphics card should always be the very last thing you put in.
Yeah. Alright. So I gotta put these two in the back. anybody watching, I recommend running everything behind the motherboard tray, just because it's easier. Um, Actually, I'm gonna unravel this little bundle of wires. It's already heavier, surprisingly. Oh wow, it's already partly wire managed.
Mm-hmm.
Can I? There we go. Taking that card reader and running the wires through where the front panels were originally wired. I'm gonna wrap it around. That way it's tight, nice and tidy. There we
Well,
go.
the little tie that they have there should be you should be able to undo it and re
It's got a zip tie here, and then it's got a regular tie here.
ah.
So it's pre-zip tied into a place, so they pretty much did some work for you there. So it looks like I'm seeing the fan. Alright, so I want to remove all these fan things. Front panel connectors. This is the part that sucks because you got to make sure you get all these cables figured out from each other. Okay, this sucks. I'm gonna take that big ass connector, move it over there. Is this audio? It's audio. No, that's USB. I bet you know exactly how I feel right now. Carl,
You know exactly how you feel about what?
these wires. What I think about these wires.
Oh, they're it can be messy.
Yes, that is exactly what I'm talking about. It doesn't help that the fan controller's there. I'm trying to like sort out the front panel connectors from the hub of. Alright, so there's three fan connectors for the control of fan hub. And I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not going to use the fan controller, then I'd say just bundle those up and shove them up into the 5 1/4 bay at the top so they're out of the way.
No, I'm using them. Because the ones for my Corsair H100i are noisy as hell. And I'd like to have the option to turn them up or down. Alright, so these need to be wired. Alright, I'm going to throw these on the top. And bring that up. And that's very conveniently put at a good distance. There we go. Panel connectors. Alright, so we got are these the plus and negative for power LEDs? I'm guessing that's for power. What I wish my motherboard came with was a block where you can just plug all the front header connectors to, and then plug it right straight to the motherboard.
Like Asus does, the Quick Connect.
Yeah, it would make everything a lot easier to do.
It does. It makes it a lot easier to plug in because you can plug all the cables into the adapter and then just stick the whole block in. But for the most part, they're pretty standard as to what goes where.
Yeah.
And there's usually always, so anytime you're dealing with a header on a motherboard, one of the pins is always going to be marked with like a little white icon or an arrow or a number 1, something like that. That signifies that that is pin 1. And then if you look on the connectors, most connectors will have an arrow at the where the pin slots at for the
Yeah.
pin 1. So you match the arrow to the white marking or the arrow to the number 1 or the arrow to whatever. And that's going to always orient you properly. But USB headers are keyed with one missing pin, and that block is usually filled solid, so you can't plug it in upside down.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm glad they do that too, because
I believe FireWire is the same way. They just remove a different pin. The front panel connector is the only one that's not going to be like that, where because it's only like little 2-pin or 4-pin connectors.
yeah. There we go.
USB 3 is a keyed connector, so it has a little like clip piece that sticks out on one side. The same thing with a 24-pin; it's got a clip, and the actual shape of the plastic connectors themselves are shaped, which is keyed in a particular way, where you can only put it in one way. The same way the 4-pin, the same way with the 6-pin power supply, or the 6-pin for the video card. Like quite literally, most of these cables you cannot plug in wrong. Now that being said, I have seen people plug cables in upside down before. How in the hell they managed to get them shoved in there like that, I have no idea. It blows my mind. But yes, I have seen people do that before. So just take that as a a nugget of information there, that if you're forcing it and it's so difficult to plug in that you're having to like shove it in there or use a screwdriver to shove it down, or like it's taking that much force, you're wrong. Flip it over. It should just plug right in, smooth as butter. You shouldn't have to ever force anything.
Save the person who has to work with it a headache.
Yep. Yep. You should never have to force anything.
Alright, so alright, so my front fan, should I plug my front fan into I don't know. My
Well, look
front
at your
fan,
motherboard. See what fan headers you have. You should have like chassis 1, chassis 2, chassis 3, stuff like that.
oh, I have a lot. It's just I'm trying to decide because I have one extra fan controller.
Well, realize that everything you plug into the fan controller is going to run on the same, like they'll all be running at low speed, which is probably 6 volts, and then medium is probably 9 volts, and high is probably 12 volts. So it supplies the full amount of power because it's DC based, which means that they're going to be 3 pins. So that's another thing to check, is to see, how many pins are your fan connectors, and
These
how many
ones,
pins are on the controller.
my ones that came with my Corsair H100i are 3-pinned.
Yeah, they should be
They fit
3-pin
perfect.
DC fans. The other ones, though, if they're 4-pin PWM fans, a lot of times those little connectors that come off of fan controllers, they don't have open edges where you can plug it in and just have one piece of the connector, like one pin hanging off.
I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do all the like all the fans that are blowing air out are gonna be controlled. You know what I'm saying?
All your exhauster you're going to put on the same controller, and then you put your intakes on the motherboard.
Yeah,
That's probably a good idea, actually.
because plus it'll make it look a little bit better too.
Because if you do that, you could actually run all your exhaust fans at like low or medium, and then have your motherboard make your intake fans run at medium or high, where they run a little bit of a higher speed, and that will kind of almost force your case into a positive pressure situation. But that also depends on how many intake fans you have, because right now you're going to have, 3 fans exhausting and, 1 doing intake?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're actually going to be causing a negative pressure situation, which means your case is going to get dusty quicker.
Okay, so
So you might even consider and play around with this, putting the rear exhaust fan and actually flipping that around and making that an intake, and making the front an intake as well. And then you're kind of balanced because you got 2 intakes and 2 exhausts. But the exhaust is restricted, especially if you're running them low, because it's blowing through fins. So
How,
that'll help with that a little bit.
what if I take the fans from my other case? I got two over there, and put it in this.
How many spots do you have in the front for intake fans?
Two.
Two? I definitely have two intake fans on the front. Yeah, absolutely.
I just don't
As
know
long
how.
as one of them is going to blow across your hard drives and help keep those cool, the other one's going to be right above that hard drive cage, providing cool air directly to the GPU.
Yep, the fan mounts are right there. I'm gonna take this. How did they want me to take that damn thing out?
You probably have to pop the front panel off and then and screw it into the actual metal part of the chassis, and then pop the front back on.
Okay. Well, that popped out easy.
They usually do. It's just going to be a little tight because you've got all those cables already run in and zip tied for the front panel connectors. So just be very gentle with it.
All right, that's coming out. So is this. See, nothing goes according to plan. Ever. They're gonna be a little bit smaller fans, but
Flip it around and show the camera the front of the case just so everyone can see what it looks like. Yeah.
yeah.
So that looks like a 140.
Yeah, that's a 140.
Nice. That's going to get really good airflow and spin at a lower RPM. It'll be quieter.
How can I do this? I want to keep that fan though. Maybe I should take your advice with the rear fan and have it blow in.
I mean, it all just depends. Like, that's why I say play around with it, because you could also potentially create a situation if you have that rear fan blowing in, because there's going to be a fan right next to it sucking air out. So it's pretty much just going to take that air directly from that rear fan and go through the radiator and out. It's not really going to be doing anything for the case cooling. And it could potentially create turbulence, which could cause it to be less effective with cooling. So that's always something to keep in mind with the way you arrange fans in a case. You can create air turbulence. That is a thing. That's the part of physics.
You know what I might just do? I might just leave it the way it is, and if I have to, I'll put this one at a higher RPM.
Yeah, I mean, play around with it. You've got a lot of options. You've got extra fans,
Actually, I only got two fans that came with that case, but yeah. Alright, so I'm gonna put this back in. Wow, you can actually, a lot of these things are swappable. I like that. I like that. That's cool. Looks like you can remove this and get replaceable ones if it ever breaks. Plus, I like how it's very easy to like take this front panel off and on if you need to. And the fan filters. Oh my god. If I have to, I'll get another fan for the front. Alright, so there we go.
Oh, wonderful. Apparently, George R. R. Martin already came out and said that there will be characters who die in the TV show that don't die in the books. This guy's just got a hard-on for killing off characters.
So, Yes. How exactly does that work?
My other friend just discovered the glory that is a SSD.
Yeah, that's
Troubleshooting a problem, and then he gets it working, and then all of a sudden I see a, holy shit, that was fast. It's like, yep. So I tell everybody one of the best upgrades you can make is an SSD, and so many people are like, "Oh, that's not. I'll just do that later. I don't need an SSD." And it's like, dude, I'm telling you right now, it is one of the best upgrades you can make.
Oh yeah, my system was so much faster after I did that. So, is that in there? Yeah. The way that these things are mounted, it's so weird. I'm not used to it. But as long as it's sturdy, I'm fine with it. It's one of those things where you just really gotta think about it. Grab that wire. This is kind of boring. This is the boring part. Nobody likes this part. Because all you're doing is routing wires. And for me, I'm doing this the right way. I'm making everything that routed the right way that makes sense. Ow!
Yeah, a lot of times stuff like this, if you're not doing a like how-to step by step, it's difficult, and it can be challenging to get views on, real-time PC building, unless you're doing that like step by step. Here's how you do it kind of thing.
Yeah.
If we weren't doing the hangout where we were both in here talking, my recommendation would normally be for most people, do a time lapse. Just put a camera on it, filming you, and then speed the footage up and make it like a 5-minute video instead of a 40-minute video.
Yeah. Okay, so the push is to make it go out. That makes sense.
Yeah, you probably won't be able to. I don't know how efficiently you'll be able to mount that SD card reader using
It
the
works.
toolless mount.
If I push it all the way back, it doesn't move. It works. It's
Cool.
not like the screw.
Basically, the way those toolless things work is they have two like little nipples that pop out of the side, and when you click it in one position, it retracts them, and you click it in the other position, and it inserts them, and then it
I
just
mean,
sticks into the screw holes to hold it in place.
I could always just screw it in. I mean, the holes are lining up, but I'm not in the mood to do that. So.
I know if you ever find that you go to push something into it and it like pushes into the case a little bit, then I'd say stick at least one screw in, probably on the right side.
There. Front side's good. All right. So, wire management.
I'll be right back.
Okay. I need that tie. I'm going to take all of these. Since they're all kind of bunched together. Go. Anybody who's watching, if you have any comments, let me know, or leave them at the bottom of the video, because I really appreciate the feedback and the criticism about what I'm doing. All right, so this. Go there.
What are you sitting over here mumbling to yourself?
Trying to talk to the audience. Why? What's up?
Nothing.
I can mumble to myself. I've done it.
Thought I heard you saying something about constructive criticism.
Oh my god. Okay, so that's gonna have to go there because there should be a. All right, I'm gonna undo that. And I'll put that in there. Wire management. The way it's meant to be done. Look at that. all together. Not a wire mess. There. Can you see that from the camera?
I can.
Good. 'Cause people will now know what to do. Alright, so there's that. Actually, I need to install one of my PCI cards because I have a.
We should get your power supply in and start routing some of those power supply cables before you get too much stuff tied down, because you're going to need to incorporate like the 24-pin cable and the 4-pin CPU power and all that stuff.
That bundle I put together is quite loose, so I'm not really too worried about it. So, yeah. Okay, we're gonna have thumb screws.
Yeah, they crank them down really tight from the factory.
You're gonna have thumb screws. You might want to like think about.
I mean, it makes sense though, because you don't want those screws falling out during shipping.
Yeah.
And rattling around inside the case and potentially scratching off any of the coating or anything like that. Because I want to say that Corsair powder coats their cases.
I think this is powder coated because it looks fucking absolutely amazing.
Like, does it feel like it has a texture to it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's powder coated.
Soft texture to it.
The only other option that you'll see sometimes is anodized, but that's typically with like aluminum cases.
Dude, I think this has like screws for right by the power supply for like a.
You could put a 120 intake on the bottom blowing up.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that it's got all these little screws where you could probably put like a, EK, how they have their pump water block combo.
Yeah.
It looks like it has the screws where you can probably put that there.
Or it might be is there 4 screw holes in the shape of a 2.5-inch drive? Because sometimes they'll put a mount spot for an SSD on the bottom on the floor of the case.
No, there's just like many of them. They're not. Just so confusing. All right, so that's. See, the reason why I put this little card in here is because I only have so many USB 3.0 slots, so I need that slot.
It's the 330R titanium?
Yeah, 330R titanium.
Silent edition.
Yep.
It is a nice case.
I like this case a lot.
You got that nice removable fan filter on the front.
And the way, if you look at their site, the way they show the airflow, that's the way I'm doing it. Go ahead and take a look at their site real quick.
I'm looking at the case right now on the website.
Do you see what I'm talking about?
Which part?
It should show like a fan diagram.
Yeah.
Are you looking at that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's the way I'm doing mine right now. Alright, so that works absolutely fine. This is where it's going.
I'm trying to see. Okay, so this one doesn't have there is no fan mount on the bottom.
Yeah, there's no fan on the bottom.
Trying to see what that's.
There. Oh my god, that's a tight fit. I don't like it, but it's gonna have to work.
Oh, okay. I see what you were asking about. All the holes that the venting holes that are there, and then there's some mounting spots. Okay. So what that is for is if you don't have a standard length power supply, like you got a big 1200 watt or a 1500 watt that's a long power supply, an extra long one, That's to allow airflow for the longer power supplies. And there's probably a little metal bracket or something that came with the case in one of those bags that is a support bracket that you would mount at the front to help support the power supply.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I think that I'm gonna have to buy one of those because this didn't come with a lot of accessories.
Well, it may not. It may not have a support bracket. Some cases do, some cases don't. But
Yeah.
either that or it is the other thing it might be is you can buy expansion hard drive cages. So if you look, I think with this case, if you look at the bottom where the 5 1/4 bays are, there might be like little slits where you could slide in another hard drive cage and mount it. That might be the same deal. Like you might have a half height hard drive cage that mounts between the power supply and the front hard drive cage. That might be what some of those mounting spots are for. Don't quote me on that though. I don't know. I can't really tell from the pictures that I'm finding of this case online because they just don't have the greatest pictures.
Yeah. Man, this looks cleaner than the last time. It's looking good so far, man. Turn it around so everybody can see. It's looking clean. Look at that. I'll have to bundle these up. After this stream, I plan on posting pictures. That way everybody can see what I've done. Yep, time for a zip tie. Alright, Alright, so they could possibly use a couple more spots for tie downs, but so far, so good. That's the back of it. What do you think?
Not bad.
Yep. Time for SATA cables.
Did you get your 4-pin? Actually, you should probably do this since you have a modular power supply. Go ahead and grab your 4-pin CPU power cable.
Actually, it's semi-modular, so.
Oh, that one's permanently attached, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. I'm going to say if you have a fully modular and you can pull that one out, it's always easier to plug it into the motherboard first and then run it down the back of the tray and then pull it through the grommet and plug it into the power supply that way.
Yeah.
So if your cable's short, hopefully this still keeps the intake of the power supply aiming down, but you're going to want to orient the power supply where that breakout for the part that's not modular is as close to the motherboard as possible.
See, that's how I had it on the other one, so. But it naturally does that when I have it shooting down. When it's shooting down, it's like.
Yep, it puts it all the way up against the thing, yeah.
Yeah. So it gives it enough space.
Oh, watch here. I'll help make this a little easier on you. Pull the power supply back out.
Alright.
Take all those cables and push them through that big grommet, that big open grommet on the bottom right there.
Right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, push them all through first, and then lower the power supply in there. It'll be easier. It's just going to make it a little easier on you.
Now I know why Jay doesn't like doing live builds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Plus, you have a tendency to get a lot of flack from people for every little tiny mistake you make, and it's like, look, anybody who's ever sat down and built a case knows, or built a computer knows that it never goes 100% smoothly from start to finish. There's always going to be some little hiccup, or you weren't thinking, you did something before something else, and you're like, oh crap, now it's kind of a pain in the ass, and now I have to, rethink this. But that's just part of doing it, That's part of the troubleshooting process. Sometimes sometimes you just got to guess and try things.
Yeah.
There's a lot of aspects of building PCs that are gray areas. There's not necessarily a clear-cut answer one way or the other. And I notice a lot, with a lot of people on the internet when they're asking questions about building computers and putting stuff together. Everyone always wants that clear-cut yes or no answer, like it's either this way or it's this way. And it's like, well, that's not always this way or this way.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's in between. Sometimes there's more than two options. It's not always clear cut. So, and
Yeah.
every case is different. Every motherboard can be slightly different because of the layout of the connectors and stuff. Different power supplies have different length wires, and sometimes you got to get creative with how you route things. There's no wrong answer, as long as you're not damaging something or trying to push something outside of its spec that it was designed for. There's no wrong answer.
Oh yeah.
When it comes to building computers.
It's just what if you do it right or you don't. If you do it right, you do it right. If you don't, you're gonna have a headache, and possibly you're gonna lose money because you fucked something up. And if you fuck something up, it's all your fault. You can't blame it on anybody. Manufacturer's gonna be like, "Oh, how'd this happen?" Uh, that's what's gonna come out of your mouth. Uh, I did this and this happened. Like a noob that they are, if they're smart, they'll be like, "Yeah, it came out of the box, it didn't work."
And you know what? This is honestly, making a mistake sometimes is the best possible thing you can do.
Yeah.
Because you learn from mistakes. You don't necessarily learn from like, if you've never built a computer before and you go into it the first time and you just get damn lucky and everything is boom smooth and easy. Well, you probably didn't learn as much from that experience as you did if it was a pain in the ass and you had to kind of figure things out and start using your brain, and maybe you screwed up and you did something wrong and then you had to like pull everything back out and then redo it again. Yes, it's a pain in the ass and it sucks, but you will learn something from that situation.
Like
And the next time you go to build, you won't make those mistakes again. And
Yeah.
now you know what is possible.
Yeah, I learned the hard way in I/O panel. I learned the hard way when it comes to cable management. God. Okay, so the front fan. I'm gonna wait on that.
That case has a top panel too, doesn't it? Yeah, I see it sitting off to the side there.
Yeah, it's right here.
I mean, obviously you're not going to have that on there while with a cooler on the top.
Actually, I'm about to test this. Actually,
I mean, yes, it's got that little opening right at the front, but I don't think that's going to be enough for it to actually push the air out. Now, you might be able to modify something and pick yourself up like some like rubber sticky feet or something, or like little rubber pieces, and like stick them down on there, and where it like lifts up and gives you a gap all the way around.
I don't know, but I'm gonna when I get done, I'm gonna see what the effects are. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if you put that on there, that sound dampening material that's on there sits flush against those that grill. It won't be able to exhaust air at all.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go.
So you see the little opening right at the top up there? Yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes you got to stick it in at a weird angle in order to clear the clip.
All right. Perfect. Spot.
Because
What
see,
was
to me, the back of the motherboard tray can be a hot mess as much as you want it to be, but the inside should look beautiful. For one reason at a minimum at least, airflow.
Oh yeah.
Cables hanging out in the middle of your case and just hanging around and not being tied down or not being pulled and not being routed properly, that will affect airflow. I mean,
Oh
if you
yeah.
put a fan in front of your face and then you like stick something in between you and the fan, you're not going to feel airflow anymore. The same thing happens with cables. They will block airflow or reduce airflow. So, cable management is, in my opinion, it's an absolute must. There's no question about it. Cable management is required.
Oh yeah. Definitely. And I am definitely doing cable management right now. You guys just don't see it because I don't feel like moving the camera over here. I'm using my blue snowball because it has the better audio. Plus, I'm not using it because, of course, I'm working on my PC. So, yeah, the audio pickup on the blue microphone is just absolutely amazing. I am like a good 5-6 foot away from it. 4 foot, 4+4 pin. What the hell? I don't know what that's for. I got an extra 4+4 pin. I don't know what it's for.
Some CPUs require 8-pin for power.
I have 8 pin. That's what's in there.
Okay.
I got this extra one, which I don't exactly know what to do with it. I don't want to hook it up to a graphics card or anything either. So I'm just gonna wrap it around and shove it in here.
What's the wattage in that power supply?
It's an 800. But
What model is it? I'm curious.
it's
I'm gonna look it
a
up.
Coolmax model ZU900B. Alright, so let's go this one.
That's a 900 watt.
Huh?
It's a 900 watt.
Yeah. It is. Oh shit.
Oh yeah, it gives you dual 8-pin connectors.
Yeah, I don't know what exactly they're for though.
Well, it's got two CPU 8-pin connectors. That's probably because since it's a 900 watt power supply, you could potentially use it on a dual CPU system, which any system that's got a motherboard that's got dual CPU sockets on it is going to have two separate 8-pin connectors.
Okay.
One for each CPU. Yeah, and then your 24-pin is usually a 20-pin with an extra 4 pins on the side that like clip into it. That way it has backwards compatible support with old AT-style motherboards that only use a 20-pin connector.
That makes sense. Okay. Alright, so the major stuff is connected. Time to run SATA cables and all the extra little things. I'm gonna start with SATA just because it's there and it's probably the better step to go with. You know what I'm talking about. Is that a straight to straight? Really don't matter. Wait, I'm gonna take that ugly ass white connector and put it towards the bottom so they can see it.
So since there's no YouTube chat, apparently people are just finding me on Facebook and adding me as friends and then hitting me up on Facebook to ask questions about your build.
My build?
Yeah, that's the guy that just added me as a friend on Facebook. That I was like, who is this? I don't recognize the name. There's a Jesper, because he just sent me a message and he was saying you should be pulling in to get better cooling to the radiator. He had it that way, so I'm assuming he's referring to when we were talking about the rear exhaust fan, flipping that around as an intake.
Yeah.
It looks like he was saying he has it the way you have it set up right now. in his case, and when he flipped it around the way I suggested, it dropped his temps by 20 degrees,
Oh wow.
which seems pretty extreme. My thinking there would be that maybe there was something else going on there. Um, Not quite sure. I mean, that's a situation where I'd have to like physically put my hands on it and and check it out to see exactly what was going on. But yeah, like I said, you're just gonna have to experiment with stuff to see what is the best. And that's the thing. Don't ever assume that any one particular layout or setup is the best one, no matter what anybody tells you.
Yeah.
Experiment and find out for yourself, because based on what your room is, what the ambient temperature is, where your computer's located, what kind of fans that you happen to have. I mean, there's so many factors that can go into affect that kind of a thing, that really it's going to be a case by case basis. So you have to do the experimentation yourself and figure out what's going to work best, and not just like turn it on for 5 minutes and see what happens. Like make a change, load up Prime 95, or unless you're running a Haswell processor, then don't freaking use Prime 95. Use something like OCCT or ATA64, and run a stress test on it. Put that thing under load. Get it running as hot as you can possibly get it, and see what kind of a difference it makes. See how loud it gets, that kind of thing. I mean, you have to put the time in order to get the most optimal setup. And unless you just don't care, and if you don't care, then you're just going to deal with what you got, and you can't complain. You have no right to complain. But if you're building your own PC and you're going to put that time and effort into it, then go the extra mile and do all the experimentation and figure it out. I'm not necessarily addressing that at you, Joe, but just audience in general.
Yeah. It's just. Oh. Alright, I'm gonna route that around some wires. Kind of glad I saved the SATA for last, because it's like something that they're flat cables and you can run them under a lot of things.
Yeah.
And if you didn't know that, now you
The
know.
flat ones are okay. I've actually become a bigger fan of the rounded SATA cables.
Really?
Yeah, they actually are a lot easier. To me, they're a lot easier to route when you have a lot of them,
Yeah,
because
I
it's
didn't know
easier to
that.
bundle round cables together in like a round bundle. Those flat ones don't bundle very well unless you lay them on top of each other, and then that can be a real pain to try to get them to cooperate. When you have to make turns and stuff, sometimes they'll kink in a weird way and it'll cause an extra bulge or something like that. So flat cables can be challenging depending on the case.
Yeah. In my
Plus, some cases like the one you have here, the SATA cables, you have straight SATA cables, not right angle SATA cables, and those stick out.
I
Luckily,
have
you're going to
some
have enough room.
I have some right angles.
Yeah,
Actually,
luckily you probably have enough room between where it plugs into the back of the hard drive and where the side panel is going to be, that it's not going to like push down against that kink where the cable turns, therefore putting too much pressure on that turn and could potentially cause the SATA cable to be damaged over time. You probably have enough room, enough clearance that it's not going to be a problem. But I have seen cables and hard drive connectors get damaged that way because somebody shoves the side of the case on and it like crams right against that SATA connector and it'll break it.
oh wow. Mine's looking kind of pretty nice right now. All the SATA cables, they're like, dude, I'm sending you a picture of this afterwards, because this just looks.
Yes, please do. A nice
Awesome.
higher resolution picture would be
This
nice.
is, take a look at that. That's that's where the SATA connect cables
Yep,
are.
that's awesome.
Now for the SATA power connectors, which, all right. So, uh,
Depending on the orientation, you should be able to either just daisy chain them like the
I'm
way you
able
pulled it
to.
through right there. If the orientation's not right, you might push it back through and then just run that cable along the back corner of the motherboard tray and then come up over the front side of just like you did with the SATA data connectors.
You know what's cool is that I can actually have all the SATA connectors. One strand of these SATA connectors are actually hooked just to the hard drives itself, which I kind of like. So when they boot up, they're not affecting my SSD at all.
Yeah. I love when they make cables where it's right angle connectors and they're daisy chained on the same cable.
Yeah.
So where it's like there's a right angle at the top, and then about an inch down there's another right angle, and then about an inch down there's another right angle, and it looks like four wires running through all these connectors, and they just kind of stick out of the cables, rather than it being like an individual ending that's a straight connection. The right angle for SATA power are really nice.
Um, Thank God this thing came with an extra one. Shit. Alright, so that's how I'm going to have to do that. Ah. See, for my optical drive, I have to run one up to that, and it's going to fit perfect when it comes to going down to my SSD. The length of it, it's going to be just right.
Oh, see, this is what kills me about days whenever I don't get to bed at a proper time, and so I end up sleeping in the next day. Like it's
Yeah.
5:30 my time right now. It does not feel like 5:30. It feels like noon.
Oh, wow.
Like in my head, in my body, it feels like it's much earlier in the day than it actually is.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's too tight. It's tighter than I wish it was. I don't like how tight that is at all. But it's going to have to work. Yep.
You're not doing too bad. The stream's been running for 2 hours now.
Oh, wow. I've been doing this for 2 hours?
Right, 2 hours, 1 minute, and 39 seconds.
Right down to the seconds, huh? Alright. That's hooked up. I can hook that fan up now. I'm going to run that all the way up here. That's going to be...
You got a little bit of a rat's nest going on back there, but it's not bad.
Oh, it's not bad at all. It could be worse. Oh, it could be way worse. You have no idea how worse this could probably be from the way it looks right now. Actually, if I hook... is that a fan connector?
Oh yeah, it could be like the picture I saw one time where somebody took they had like a desk fan, one of those oscillating desk fans, and they like separated the like they took the base off of it where there was no base on the fan anymore, and they just took the entire fan, one of those ones that has like the metal shroud around the blades where it's
Yeah.
like the metal wire, and they just stuck that to the side. Like they took the side panel off the case and they stuck the whole fan to the side of the case and like taped it to the
Oh,
case with packaging tape.
oh God. That's horrible. I would never do that.
Oh yeah, probably completely ineffective, and creating so much air turbulence that it was just not even doing anything for it. I'm fairly sure.
Yeah. There we go. What next? Oh yeah, I got hook that. I hook the power up to that. Man, I'm getting close, man. I'm almost close to being done.
Almost there.
Yep, I'm putting my Wi-Fi card in right now. All right. Almost there.
What's that from?
I don't know.
It's probably from multiple different things, but the particular one that I was quoting, where it's like almost there, just a little bit further.
I think
The
I'm like,
line might be slightly different, but that's from A New Hope. The final scene, whenever I think it's red team leader or gold team leader or something like that. I want to say it's the guy that's in the Y-wing as they're flying through the trough on the Death Star to go destroy it, and he's sitting there. He's going almost there.
oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, and
That's the
that's old.
scene that flashes through my head whenever I say that.
All right.
Actually, that's how my brain works. Everything automatically gets associated with a movie in some way, shape, or form because I am absolutely a film nut. I love cinema. I love film.
Yeah. I got a question. You suggest I put because I have PCI Express slot power. Should I use it?
It's not going to be necessary. That's so the having that extra Molex connector on the bottom of the motherboard for the PCI power to supply extra power to it. That's for when you're doing in situations where you're running like double and triple SLI.
Okay.
Um, when you might need that little bit of extra power. I mean, you throw like three frickin' 780 Ti's that take dual 8-pin power connectors each in there. Not only do you need probably a 1200 watt power supply, but the motherboard might need a little extra juice for the for the PCI lanes. So,
Yeah.
and I do recommend sticking that card in your X16 slot just to see what the difference is.
Man, I am telling you this. I went through a shit ton of trouble with this card, with any type of card in that slot. With this
They just don't like to run.
it it's that bus is just buggy. It's just
Hmm.
buggy as fuck, man.
I wonder if it might just be an issue with it's not auto-detecting PCI Gen 2 or PCI Gen 3 properly when you plug into that slot. I mean, you
No,
might have to get
what
into
I'm
the
getting, what I'm
might have to
getting
get into
is
UEFI and mess with it.
what I'm getting is the fact that all right, so it boots up, it goes through there, the performance is down. I have constant driver failure issues.
Hmm. Have you done any research? Are there known issues that other people experience with that model of motherboard and
I
that model of
found,
video card
I
that are
found
the same
right.
issue?
I kept looking it up, kept looking it up. I couldn't figure it out. They said bad graphics card, so I bought this one, still did it, and then I seen a thread on Yahoo Answers that said, try moving it to a different bus. I did that, and it worked. So,
What's the motherboard? What model motherboard?
ASRock FM2 888X FM6 Plus.
Oh, it's that motherboard.
Wait, you know this motherboard?
Well, not the ASRock. I don't think I've ever worked with the ASRock, but I had massive amounts of issues with the Gigabyte FM2 A88X motherboard. Like massive issues. As a matter of fact, I went through six, I think six different motherboards where like we bought the motherboard. I did a build with it. I had an issue. I sent it back. They RMA'd it, had the exact same issue. RMA'd it, had the exact same issue. RMA'd it, had the like six motherboards in a row before we got one that did not have the issue. And the issue was the CPU socket temperature sensor was not correct, and the computers would overtemp and shut down because the sensor wasn't reading correct, and it would think that the processor was running at like 90 degrees Celsius just at boot,
Oh,
like instantaneously that hot. And it
oh,
wasn't controlling the thermals properly. It wasn't ramping the fans or anything. And we called them up, and it was like a known issue. And I was like, seriously? Like you've manufactured and mass released a motherboard that has an issue that can prevent it from booting at all, and you haven't recalled this product? Seriously? Like,
wow. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely insane. Okay. Alright, so that requires another zip tie. Or I can just stuff it to the point where it looks nice and tidy. Alright, I'm gonna need. I think I got about one last cable to go. That's a Molex. They're really pushing away from Molex, aren't they? Carl?
hang on just a second. What was that?
They're really pushing away from Molex, aren't they?
Yeah, thank God. Molex freaking sucks.
It's a bulky connector.
Yep. SATA everything should be SATA now. There should absolutely be no reason to have anything on Molex anymore, unless you want to market something like modular power supplies. Throw one or two cables in there with Molex connectors that I can optionally plug in if I want to. Other than that, nothing should be Molex anymore. And people that are creating radiators and fans and different types of connectors like SSD, like card readers and stuff like that. Don't let me see a Molex connector on that. That's freaking stupid. There's no reason for it anymore. Everything, like so much runs on SATA. Everything should be SATA connectors now.
Yeah.
They're smaller. They're easier to use and connect. It's the current standard for pretty much all hard drives. Why not make it the standard for everything?
Yeah, why not?
That's one of the areas where I get irritated with computer manufacturers and with stuff is, somebody will go to manufacture something and just decide that they want to create a proprietary connector or some shit. And it's like, why? Why would you do that? You're not doing, like, you're really not causing yourself to generate any more profit. All you're going to do is generate irritation. And those people who have the money, that are really going to spend money on being enthusiasts on buying computer stuff, they're not going to buy your product because you've made it more difficult, because you're not keeping an open standard like everybody else uses. Personally, anybody who does not use open standards can frickin' go F themselves as far as I'm concerned. Everything should be open standards.
Let's think about Apple. Apple has a lot of their own type of standards, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's a very closed environment. It's a very closed ecosystem. Their ecosystem is one of, hey, if you wanna be part of the Apple family, you're gonna be part of the Apple family. Like, everything is gonna be Apple. Your phone's gonna be Apple. Your computer's gonna be Apple. Like, everything is gonna be Apple. And you better damn well be okay with that and okay with the way they make you use it. Because if you want to get outside of that at all, it's just not going to work, because it will not cooperate, period. Now, does that mean that it doesn't run well? No, not at all. Like, the Apple ecosystem runs great. If that's what you want and you're okay with your hand being held and them guiding you through everything and not having any options, then okay, sure, go with the Apple ecosystem. But if you want options and customability and things like that, then PC or Android is the way to go. However, that means you have to be a little bit more intelligent. You got to do a little bit more research. You got to do your homework. You got to figure things out. You need to troubleshoot a little bit. You need to learn about computers a little bit. But I think everybody should be doing that, because that's the direction everything is going for the future. And I think anybody who's 20 or younger right now who is not trying to learn as much as they can about computers is only harming themselves for their future. Regardless of what industry you go into, you should learn as much as you can about computers and how they function. You don't need to be able to learn it to a degree where you are a professional IT person, but you should be able to learn enough about how computers operate and function on a hardware level and a software level because everything is going to be computers and computer programming and computer hardware going forward. Everything.
Ugh.
There eventually will reach a point where kids in grade school will be taking programming courses because it's standard base curriculum.
Ugh. Motherfucker.
No, not the knee. Don't use the knee. Take your forearms and set one forearm against the front and one forearm against the back, and then slide it in. So you want to back the door up just a little bit and use your forearms to slide it in.
Dude, that's genius.
Like I said, I've built a lot of computers.
That works great. Like, that went very, very smoothly. My room's a mess. I have to clean it for tomorrow. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, no, there's nothing about building a computer that's clean.
Jay, your shit is fucking dirty.
Every time JQ Sense does something, he's like, "Look at all the stuff all over the place." It's like, "Yep, that's how it goes." Because you're not going to take time to like go to the take out the trash. Oh, hang on, let me stop talking so you can show it off.
Guys, this is completely done, and I'm about to boot it up. That way you guys can see it. Ugh. Fuck, it's heavy. All right. Oh yeah, I forgot.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, you are looking at Joe's floor, shag carpet, and the mess of post-computer building.
Okay. I'm gonna move this with me. This is gonna come over here. You guys currently see my hand, but I don't know if you guys can hear it, but we're about to start it up for the first time.
All right, one last double check. You got all your power connectors plugged in, your GPU power connector, 4-pin or 8-pin CPU, 24-pin.
Looks like it.
Front panel connectors, all that stuff.
Yep.
All right.
Here we go.
Fire this baby up.
So, well, it's a lot quieter. Fan,
I can hear it now.
that's the.
That's
fan,
just the initial knock the dust off, ramp up to full speed, and then come back down.
That's the fan controller that I put on. Cause I got the CPU hooked up to the fans on the radiator hooked up to a fan controller.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna keep it right there. If I'm doing any hardcore gaming or anything like that.
I never used the that block has that little plug you can plug into it that has the split with two fan connectors, so you can just run them off the block. I've never used that.
Yep.
Because
Okay.
the only way you can control it then is you have to run the Link software, and the Link software controls the fans, and I wasn't a fan of that. See what I did there?
Right. That's my setup. I'm about to put the side thing on there, and I'll be right back in a second.
Facebook just crashed on me.
That's a good angle, too.
I figured out what keeps causing my Facebook to crash. It's because I have this add-on in Chrome called Hacker Vision that inverts my colors, so it makes everything dark. Facebook don't like it. Like, at all. It makes Facebook freak out and do crazy shit. Which really kills me. Facebook needs a night mode toggle button.
Yeah.
To make it all white text on a black background.
Yeah, I think I could probably get away with my, when it's not running full speed, this being up here. But, we'll put the side thing on it and close it up. Oh yeah, I forgot the magnetic filter. Here we go. Yeah, this took forever. I forgot how long it took to put the PC all the way through. Dude, that's quiet. Alright, give me a moment and I'm going to connect everything. I'll turn this off. Well, you guys are going to see my chest and I'm going to do some things here.
Like, you people are gonna see all my nice muscles. I'm gonna show it off.
There we go. Time to plug everything in. Actually, you guys can come see that. There. All these connectors. I like starting with the video because it's at the very bottom. Display port, HDMI, DVI to HDMI. I hate this connector because it always is a pain in the ass. Like once you get it in good at one point, you're good. But if you don't get it in right, you're fucked. So I always take my mouse and keyboard and put it in the USB 2.0 slot, since they always seem to. Since USB 2.0 always works. Drivers always work. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There's those. And that. That. And that. Alright, that's it for connectors. Turn this on the side, the way it's gonna be from now on. Huh, I like it. So much more room for activity.
I really like that titanium, like that gunmetal gray front, just smooth, clean front panel like that. The door. I know, I'm a huge fan of the really clean, like Scandinavian design or aesthetic, like fractal cases and stuff like that.
Alright, time to start everything up. Here we go.
All right. And so you just be careful with that magnetized panel on the top, because your temps probably aren't going to be great. You're probably going to have to pull that off, as I'm almost positive that's blocking your airflow.
Starting up Windows should be very, very quick. And it is it. One display isn't working, but I'll figure that out.
Your corsair link just popped up, and you need to check and see what your
Yep, figured it out.
temps are.
Now it's working. Okay. Well, I'm going to close out of that, exit that.
That's a nice speaker.
What?
I said, that's a nice speaker.
Thank you.
Now we're looking at the screen, but for a second there, it was just like Logitech speaker. That was it.
Oops. I'm trying to do this right, guys, but it's kind of a pain in the ass. It's so
Yeah,
bright.
it's way too overexposed. You can't read anything on the screen.
Give me a moment.
Just like bright white.
Hardware monitor, I'm thinking.
Oh yeah, I hooked you up with an open hardware monitor, didn't I?
Yeah,
Or suggested it, I should say. I didn't hook you up with it.
yeah, you did. Shut up. Urgh. Can you see
Well, that
that?
makes it sound like it's my software. It's not my software. No, it's the window, the open hardware monitor window is just solid blank white.
So my temperatures are currently sitting at 28 and 26. And if I turn up the fans a little bit, I bet I could get it down a little even more. No, probably not.
All right, you need to run
Oh,
something to put
it
it
went
under
down
load
5
and how
degrees.
well it handles under load.
Yeah, I should probably do that.
I'm just the only reason I'm stressing on it is because that magnetized panel on the top bothers me. Because it
Actually,
does,
I don't have it on right now.
huh?
I don't have it on right
Oh, you
now.
pulled it off. Okay. As I
Yeah.
say, like stick that back on and watch open hardware monitor and probably watch your temps climb because it's probably blocking airflow if you have that up there.
Well, I'm starting up Far Cry 4. Just give it a moment. Actually, I'm just gonna put this on the blue microphone. Oh, shit. Damn thing, stay. Stay. There we go. Now you guys can see what's going on.
Now, see, that's not a bad idea.
What?
Pick up a second one of these movable mic arms and mount your webcam to it and like mount that arm to like the back of the desk or something. So then I could like move the camera around mounted to an arm.
So it went up about 1 degree on both temperatures. I just went up again. It's sitting pretty steady.
Is that with the panel on the top?
No, that's without.
Okay.
I'm gonna do it with and without the panel. I'm just gonna get into this game and see how it is. I'm gonna turn it all the way down.
Oh yeah, that's right. You have to run it in windowed mode because it just like doesn't like running full screen, right?
Yeah, it hates it. Oh, it just hit 30 degrees.
That's still like freaking super cool.
Yeah.
I want to say 30 degrees Celsius is like maybe just barely over 100 degrees.
Yeah.
That's no 30 degrees Celsius is 86 degrees Fahrenheit. 40 degrees Celsius is 104 degrees Fahrenheit.
Ah.
That's still very comfortable.
The temperature is like building.
Oh, of course it's going to. I mean, it should climb. Things are ramping up and, pulling more power and they're going to warm up. I mean, that's expected.
Yeah.
What you're looking for is like what it shouldn't be doing is like your CPU should not be hitting 75, 80, 90, 85 degrees Celsius. Your GPU shouldn't be hitting anything higher than about 70 because you remember when we were doing the overclock, you were hitting about 71, 72, and that was
That was that
maxing
was
out.
on my graphics card though.
Yeah, exactly. But looking at both of them, you shouldn't be even under full load, hardcore with an overclock. You shouldn't be going over mid 50s on the CPU.
Yeah. So if I turn it up a bit, I bet I could bring it down just quite a bit.
How loud is it on high?
It's not too loud. Like if I were to hook it up to the regular Link software, it could go a lot louder.
Okay, now just as an experiment, go ahead and stick that panel on the top and see what happens.
All right. I don't know. It's not moving at all.
Start actually playing the game.
Okay. Escape. Yeah. Still towards the beginning of the game, so. It didn't really move at all.
Game looks terrible right now because it's so overexposed.
I actually don't even have it turned up all the way.
No, it's the camera. It's not the game itself.
Actually, I do have it turned up all the way. Ooh. But it looks kind of real, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're outside.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it looks like for right now it looks like it's a super bright sunny day.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's smooth. Wow.
Does it seem to be running better?
I think the graphics card is getting its proper cooling now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just not heating up.
So how's that CPU temp looking?
It raises a little bit with that thing on top of it, though.
I'd take it off. I'd leave it off just to be safe, because it seems to me like it's gonna be hindering airflow.
I think I'm just gonna keep it off when it's like when I'm doing things with it, but when I'm not, I'm just gonna leave it on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, during idle.
Yeah, because it's not gonna really get very. It's not gonna get too hot. My God, I like this. Let's kill this pig over here. I wish you guys could see this, but boom! Yeah, I didn't kill him. Not
So
big enough for them.
how was the build experience?
I took my time and everything went smoothly.
There you go.
Whoa, you better die, motherfucking pig. Ha! Pig. He's dead. It looks so damn good. Look at the shadows. I don't know if you can see that, but oh yeah. All right, well, I'm gonna turn this around. You guys are seeing my face. Um, Thank you for watching. This was very fun. I was streaming off my laptop, so if it was a little shaky, the laptop's only a $300 laptop, so can't do anything about it. Carl here was trying to keep you guys entertained when I'm not. So I hope you guys enjoyed. This should be going on my main channel and a PC chassis upgrade. Awesome. I like this case a lot. It is the Corsair Corsair 330R. Corsair Carbide 330R Platinum or
Titanium edition.
Titanium edition. It's very nice, but hopefully you guys all have a good day. And I'm gonna probably be cleaning now. This sucks. It really does. Everybody, have a good day, or a good night, or a good morning, or a good afternoon.
Bye.
See you later. Stop broadcasting.